Iowa Utilities Board has approved the Summit Carbon Solutions pipeline. Now, the pipeline, which would be the largest of its kind, would transport liquefied carbon dioxide from ethanol plants in Iowa and neighboring states to North Dakota, spanning over 2,000 miles. 75% of the Iowa route landowners have already signed voluntary easement agreements. Critics argue the pipeline benefits corporations at the expense of rural communities and poses safety risks without significantly reducing climate pollution. The approval is contingent on securing necessary permits in South Dakota and North Dakota. Now let's bring in AgriTalk's Chip Flory for today's Chip's Corner. And Chip, now you talked with the CEO of Summit Carbon Solutions this week on AgriTalk. Interesting interview. What was your takeaway?
Well, number one, they're very hopeful that the approval from the Iowa Utilities Board is going to provide some of the momentum that the project needs. And the other thing is that in the conversation with CEO Lee Blank was that this is just the first step in Iowa. This is the base project that they got approval for. Now, after the Navigator system left its efforts and decided not to pursue a pipeline in the state, that meant that the POET is looking for some of the lines to hook up to their plants and so on. So Summit has got to come back and look at some of these other areas that the pipe is going to have to run to if they are going to include a lot of the production that's in the state of Iowa. So that is happening. And the other thing that I think is really important is that I asked CEO Blank about the why. Why is this so important to get this pipeline done in the state of Iowa and what it might mean for the corn industry?
If we want to keep the ethanol industry competitive and we want to put it in a position where it can compete with other areas of the country that might be able to directly sequester, the 5-state region that we're working in needs the infrastructure project. And it's a large piece of the industry, Chip. So we want to make sure that we put the appropriate infrastructure in place so that the ethanol industry can continue to grow across the 5 states that we're working on and can compete specifically into the new markets that are now demonstrating real viability as we move forward.
Now, new markets, he's talking about the sustainable aviation fuels and renewable diesel, things like that. He's trying to say that this is going to be part of the carbon calculation, right?
Yes. Yeah, it's all part of the carbon intensity score. Right now, the way things stand with the Z45 credits or the 45Z credits that are going to be coming for the 2024-2025 crop, that will allow for a pathway for corn-based ethanol into that sustainable aviation fuel market. That's just part of the equation. What Lee Blank is saying, and the reason that they're putting this pipeline in, is they're just basically saying, listen, we don't have to worry about all of that. If we take the CO2 away from the ethanol production facilities and put it underground up in North Dakota, then all of that ethanol is going to qualify for it will qualify for production of sustainable aviation fuel and some of the other low carbon fuels that are required out there, Clinton. So, but the bottom line here, dude, is there is a lot of work that needs to be done. It's not like the approval from the Iowa Utility Board all of the sudden means that Summit Carbon is going to be breaking ground on these pipelines in Iowa. There's still a lot of work that needs to be done.
Yeah, there's a lot of work, and it just feels like they've got a lot of work to do to win over multiple states here to try to get landowners and farmers on board. I know that's part of the whole process here. Chip, as always, appreciate you being here. We'll be back with more U.S. Farm Report to celebrate a big anniversary in North Dakota coming up next.